This Tiger Invitational Day here on ACC Network Extra, as the Clemson Tigers teetering on the edge of being ranked, looking for another top 25 victory after defeating Mississippi State yesterday. The Bulldogs look for revenge as we take a look at this Tiger Invitational standings through a few days here at McCorder Stadium. Clemson with a big win over Mississippi State and a couple tough ones as Georgia Southern defeated Clemson but lost to the Bulldogs. So here we sit, a pair of 2-1 teams battling for the title of Tiger Invitational champs. He's Scott Whitlock. I'm Daniel Gilman. A big win yesterday for Coach Rittman, his 1,000th as a head coach, Clemson's 250th as a program, but it was Sierra Manis who stole the headline.
She was great yesterday. Don't let the byline fool you. She only had 3 strikeouts, but she had over 12 ground ball outs yesterday. And for a coach, that's beautiful.
Well, we're going to see different pitchers today, but let's go ahead and rewind to see how yesterday wrangled out as Clemson moves to 4-1 against ranked teams. And you mentioned Manis, but how about Mac Pavesi continuing to dominate?
She can hit the ball. That's a good-looking freshman player.
As we get set for the national anthem and the start of this championship Sunday meeting. Coach, as we approach conference play, Georgia Tech on Friday for Clemson, Mississippi State starts next weekend against #1 Tennessee. What are you looking at as a coach to try to wrap up the pre-conference season?
Well, if I'm John Rittman, I know that I have today and then a midweek dress rehearsal before everything starts really counting Friday when the Yellow Jackets come in here. So I'm going to try to see if my team is playing clean defense, see if they're having good at-bats, and get a feel for where the pitching is right now.
It certainly feels like the pitching for both sides is a strength here as we start the month of March. Both pitchers, newcomers, a freshman for Clemson in Lexi Hames today. There you see her, number 33. She has a sub-1 ERA at 0.49. And on the other side, the two-time SoCon Pitcher of the Year in Peja Gould, transfer from Chattanooga, with an 0.52 ERA. So are we thinking maybe small ball might be a strength early on for this teams?
Well, I don't know how much bunting will take place. The game has changed so much. But I do think if both pitchers are really got it going on, that you're going to see somebody try to beat one out to start something.
Meanwhile, we had 5 home runs hit by Clemson on Friday, 4 of them against Georgia Southern. But it was a fairly tighter game yesterday between Mississippi State and the Tigers. A couple extra base hits, but what the Bulldogs couldn't do was pick up a hit with a runner on base. How do you feel like the legendary coach Sam Ricketts might make adjustments into today?
Well, I think she's going to tell them to just take good at bats. You know, I thought the first time through Mississippi State was very, very anxious in the batter's box. I thought they gave Clemson a lot of cheap outs. I think she's going to preach patience. She's also got just a firestorm of a conference schedule to get ready to play. There's nowhere to hide in the SEC, and she's got to get her team in that mentality. Got to get them in that place where they know they've got to work hard and be smart in the batter's box. Be sure they back up the pitcher. Be sure they do everything that they need to do to be a possible tournament contender in the SEC and hopefully even get a bid.
When we come back, we'll have starting lineups as Mississippi State just completed the most successful February in program history. We'll tell you more next. And a terrific crowd on a beautiful 71-degree Sunday, maybe our hottest day here in 2026, as the Bulldogs are hoping their bats heat up. But the leadoff hitter in Morgan Stiles has picked up where she left off last season. The all-region standout shortstop had 8 hits in the Lubbock Regional. She has picked up a hit or a walk in all but 1 game this season.
Yes, and she's an excellent player. The one thing that people have got to understand, yesterday was an outlier for the Mississippi State offense. They've been scoring a lot of runs earlier in the year. Manis did such a good job yesterday of keeping them off balance and just getting the ground ball out of them. That you know, yesterday may look like, well, we don't know what's the big deal. I mean, how did they win? Well, I think today we're going to see a little bit different approach, and I think we'll find out.
Kiara Sells in that 3 spot has 9 RBIs in this 7-game hitting streak as the freshman from Pennsylvania, Lexi Hames, coming off of a 5-inning complete game shutout on Friday against Wofford. Looks to continue this early season dominance. And as you mentioned, Coach, 17-2, the record for this Bulldog team that Hames will look to quiet the bats. And a couple changes for Coach Ricketts at the bottom of the lineup, with Taylor Troutman, Paige Ernstess, and Zion Romero all getting starts for the first time this weekend. And the Tigers wearing their home whites, a little extra white in there with the decals etched in on a busy day. A doubleheader for some of these Tiger fans, with baseball kicking off at 3 o'clock against South Carolina right next door. And I'll tell you what, I imagine there are some fans that are ready to just usher from softball facing a top team to baseball in their biggest rivalry.
Yep, and I guarantee you there's probably some people in these stands, as soon as this thing's over, they're going to be strolling over to the park beside us.
Hames, the hardest thrower on the team, will sit in the low 70s. Her strikeout pitch is the rise ball, of which she had 7 against Wofford. Features a drop and a change, as the Tigers' defense is the same that rolled out yesterday against Morgan Stiles and the Bulldogs, with Sam Minish, the left-handed catcher, behind home plate. Newcomers on the left side in Sarah Bro and Kylie Chanel. Collins and Noller, the right side of the infield, as Hames delivers. 12:48 first pitch, with Sean Shoemaker, the home plate umpire. And a tight zone early here against this 446 batter in Stiles. 2-0 the count, with Nadia Barbary, the all-region, all-conference third baseman, waiting on deck.
It is not a good line of action to be 2-0 against this batter.
Stiles takes high. Morgan, who had 3 hits against the superstar Nigeri Kennedy in the regional loss to Texas Tech last season. Bulldogs coming off of their SEC best, 13 wins in 25.
And you don't want to walk a leadoff batter.
How about 4 pitches?
That's 4 straight. That is not the start that you want. You know, you don't want to give Mississippi State any encouragement. I mean, none whatsoever.
Well, one sign of silver lining, as after one batter, Coach Rittman is going to come out and talk to his freshman pitcher, Hames, and maybe just tell her a joke. Is that something that you ever did with your pitcher?
Oh, we have all sorts of conversations when we're out there. Some days it's funny, some days it's not. Right now, he's telling her to relax. You see she's got a grin on her face. And he's probably out there telling her, look, you know, we can't help you if you're going to throw the ball all over the place. So just relax and have fun. You're here for a reason. You know, I'm sure. I mean, it's just Hames is, she saw the game yesterday. She wants to come out here and make a statement of her own. And she's just right now, I think, is a little tight, a little nervous. We both have seen her pitch this weekend. We know she's a good pitcher. But that was just, let's just say, a bad sequence to move along.
Well, Hames did allow a run in the top of the first inning against Wofford. It was unearned, as her freshman teammate and Sarah Bro chats before this second at-bat of the ball game. Nadia Barbary going to get that batting average back up over 300 at 305 here. Taking outside, and a look at the seniors' numbers. Barbary, who grew up in Georgia, played travel ball with the center fielder for Clemson, Jamison Brockenbrough. And Hames is showing some early nerves, as the 6th straight ball to start this outing pushes Stiles to second.
And if you remember, late in the game on Friday, Hames hurt her finger on her throwing hand. I did not ask the question in terms of what it was and how it's doing. I should have, but I don't know if that's having anything to do with this or not, but she cannot find the zone right now.
The first pitch of the game was close. The next 6 have been less so. And Hames is shaking that right hand as Sierra Manis, the ace from yesterday, is warming up in the Clemson bullpen.
Yeah, she's going to have to get ready in a hurry, I'm afraid.
Bulldog dugout serenading Hames, who starts the afternoon with 8 consecutive balls.
And we're going to make a change right now.
And it will not be Manis. The Tigers will have a new pitcher. And it's someone we saw on Friday, as Kira Crosby will tell you more about the freshman when we come back here in the first with nobody out. Pitcher of the afternoon for Clemson in her second appearance of this weekend. Crosby went 3 innings, allowing 3 earned against Georgia Southern on Friday.
Yeah, and how would you like to be a freshman out here against this hitting team with runners on first and second, and the coach gives you the ball and says, okay, kid, get us out of this mess?
Well, we are at the part of the season, Coach Whitlock, where you try to find out what you have from some of these newcomers, huh?
Well, what she needs to do is think about damage control, and she also needs to understand, I mean, she's going to desperately want to throw a strike, but you can't throw up something fat, or this ball will get out of the park in a hurry against this team.
Well, that's the hottest hitter on the team here in Kiera Sells. Hitting .453. 5 hits in 9 at-bats this weekend in the Tiger Invitational. Sells ropes one just outside the stretch of Chanel, and everyone moves station to station. The bases are loaded here for the Bulldogs.
The total mindset of the Clemson team and coaching staff right now, damage control. You need, I mean, you would give a run for a double play. I mean, you would do anything. I mean, holding to 1 run right now would be huge. But with no outs and the bases full and the meat coming up.
Well, the Clemson infield is playing a smidge in here against Morgan Bernardini, left fielder who has 3 hits in 7 at-bats this weekend. There's a look at the defense looking to come home with a ground ball as Crosby steps off before a 1-0, and time was called by Minish behind home plate.
It's like her signal chart crossed her up.
Outfield playing straight up. Bernardini fouls back the 1-0 pitch from Crosby, and the scouting report for Crosby is a little bit more crafty. Low 60s with a curve, screw, and a heavy use of the changeup.
Yes.
With the bases loaded, you have to trust Minish behind home plate to throw something in the dirt. Crosby steps off again, and I wonder if the pitch comm system is not working.
That is exactly what's going on.
New to this season, the ACC partnered with PitchCom, the same software that the men use on the bigger diamond. So Minish replaces her PitchCom unit, and Crosby's ready for the 1-1 to Bernardini. Takes high and outside with that change.
This is a nightmare for a coaching staff right here. And you feel so helpless when you can't throw a strike.
Clemson 4-1 against ranked teams this season. They have been Jekyll and Hyde at times this year. And there's a friendly strike call up at the ribs, and it's 2-2.
You want to talk about a friendly strike. That might have been, hey, I missed the one before. That might have been a little bit of Mary Kay right there, a little makeup.
Bases juiced. Bernardini fouls back the 2-2 with Des Rivera, the Iowa transfer, waiting on deck. Bulldogs looking to snap back with a statement win here after their just 2nd loss of the season. Loss number 1 they avenged against Belmont a few weeks ago. This gets by Minish. In comes Styles. Minish bobbles, and Mississippi State aggressive on the base paths. Take a 1-0 lead, and everyone else moves up as well.
Yeah, we got a chance here for this half inning to get very ugly, because it's we know that Mississippi State can hit, and as we talked about earlier, they're being much more patient this time through the batting order than from a day ago.
3-2 pitch right at Collins. And a line down to the second baseman leads to Clemson's first down.
Well, good play by Collins. It was a soft line drive, but it was a line drive nonetheless.
We'll see how costly that wild pitch winds up being, but Des Rivera has a chance here with 2 on, 1 out, top of the first. Changeup misses outside. It's a senior from California. Her third stop. Rivera made the move from the Pac-12 at Oregon State to the Big Ten in Iowa, now the SEC, as a sky-high pop-up will not score the run. Brockenbrough comes up throwing, and Crosby is nearly out of a colossal jam with just 1 allowed.
Oh, if she gets out of this with just 1 run scored, I mean, that is huge. And I mean, she's a wild pitch away from getting out of it with nobody scoring.
It wasn't that wild either. It just got away from Minish. An aggressive decision by Styles paid off as Abby Grace Richardson, playing center field today. Usually the first baseman swings a mighty cut there at strike 1.
That was a big swing, wasn't it?
Richardson with 2 home runs this weekend. 1 inside the park against Wofford on Friday. Crosby starting to get into a rhythm, backed by this home crowd.
Just absolutely huge strike in this ball game coming up.
2 on, 2 out, top of the first, and Richardson spoils a good curve. Peja Gould patiently awaiting her start here this afternoon. Hoping for a little bit more insurance before we see Brockenbrough, Pavesi, and Collins in the bottom half. Oh-2, driven foul.
I'm parked out there. I don't need that ball to hit my car. I think I may have to ask for somebody who can stand out by my car with a glove the entire game.
I was wondering why you parked so close to the left field line.
Well, I parked where they told me to park.
0-2 again, the off speed is taken.
But as much money as Rick Bagby charged me to park, you would think that they'd do a little bit better job.
If you're just joining us, the freshman Lexi Hames got the start. She threw 8 straight balls. Kira Crosby has come in, looking to shut down the rest of this inning. 1-2, a fly ball in play. Pavesi able to secure it. And Mississippi State grabs a run there.
That great job of limiting the problem.
Bottom of the first coming up next. For Mississippi State, and here's how John Rittman rolls things out. A similar lineup to yesterday with Bro bumped up into the 6 hole. 4 straight lefties, and the top 3 hitters, Coach Whitman, they are seeing beach balls for the Tigers.
Yeah, Johnny has got a good thing going there at the top part of his batting order right now. The first 3 lefties, and then you got the right-handed hitter, Cintron, right behind them. And then Bro has had a great weekend hitting in the 6 hole today.
Bro had an RBI double, 8 big plays throughout from Clemson yesterday we'll touch on, as Peja Gould, 2-time SoCon Pitcher of the Year, delivers ball 1. Senior transfer from Chattanooga has pitched once this weekend, a shutout, 5 innings of work against Georgia Southern. How's that for 8?
That was a nice pitch right there.
Curve, yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice pitch right there.
As a left-handed hitter myself, I always shudder when that backdoor curveball is called a strike here, because I can think of frustrations of many for a left-handed batter, as Brockenbrough takes low, and the transfer from Tennessee has certainly found a home here in her 2 seasons in Clemson.
You can't help but love the way she plays the game.
Brockenbrough, who has been Miss Clutch, had a big game-winning hit against Oregon the opening weekend. Massive 2-run home run, down by 1 in the 7th against Southeastern Louisiana. 5 hits this weekend, Scored on a walk yesterday against this Bulldog team as the count is full.
And that's when you have a lot of confidence as a hitter, when you can take that pitch. That was not the pitch she wanted. It's not necessarily the fact that she thought it was a ball. That was not the pitch she wanted, but she has such normally good control of the bat. She chose to take it to a 3-2 count.
Payoff pitch from Gould. Grounded over to second, where Romero gets the start today, and her throw to Ernstess is successful. So a new right side of the infield for Mississippi State. Stiles and Barbary, the veterans, on the left side, with Bernardini, Richardson, and Sells left to right in the outfield. To the 2 spot, and the freshman from Georgia, Mac Pavesi.
And I haven't seen a better freshman this season so far than Pavesi.
Had the tape measure home run on Wednesday in Athens to kickstart that route. Homered as a part of a back-to-back first inning barrage against Georgia Southern on Friday. And here's a look at the freshman's gaudy numbers.
They're also gaudy.
Are they?
Yeah.
Now finds its way into the Clemson bullpen, and the count 1-2. Yesterday, the Tigers saw Alyssa Faircloth and Layla Amon. Here is the third head of the Mississippi State pitching trio. Check swing, bunt swing by Pavesi, cleaned up by the all-defensive third baseman Nadia Barbary.
Great job by Barbary. She knew who was running. She didn't panic and made a spot-on throw to first base to get that second out.
Certainly a different look from the lefty flamethrower Faircloth into the crafty veteran in Gould, as Marion Collins comes up with nobody on and 2 outs.
And this sophomore right here is coming into her own as a college player. If you look at her numbers, you've got to be very, very impressed. 421 with 5 home runs already. Among the team leaders in RBI.
Collins with a hit in 7 of 8, takes that curveball on the outer half. And it may be a tough afternoon for left-handers if Gould has that pitch going.
If that pitch keeps working, it's going to be a tough afternoon for everybody.
Count is 1-1. Make it a 1-2. As that one clocked in at 65 miles an hour, so much different than the 70 we saw from Faircloth. But when you reset after just playing 1 game the day before, how much is a scouting report factor in for Clemson here?
Well, a long-term scouting report. I mean, they already had a scouting report on Mississippi State before Mississippi State got to town. So they might have added a little bit left, right here, a little bit this more, but pretty much they're going to stick to their plan. What they did yesterday with Mississippi State worked, but now this is the first time they've seen Gould.
2-2 to Collins. Called strike 3, frozen on the off speed, and a shutdown half inning for Gould. Takes us to the second. Mississippi State looks for what might be their biggest win here in 2026. A 1-0 lead. And the 7th-year head coach, Samantha Ricketts, one of the best hitters in this sport's history, the former Oklahoma All-American. Stand out with USA as well. And you have to imagine that Coach Ricketts had a couple conversations with her veterans after yesterday's loss.
Oh, I'm sure she did, but I guarantee you she stayed calm and under control. Nobody likes to lose, but I really like the adjustments they've made in the batter's box.
Taylor Troutman's adjustment is to swing early as the DP's first at-bat against Clemson, and her first at-bat of the weekend is a deep flyout for out number 1. Here's a look at Jamison Brockenbrough. You know, a funny story I got from Mississippi State's SID. I'll tell you here in a moment about Brockenbrough. Paige Ernstess swings over the first. We saw her just once yesterday pinch hitting. From Indiana. As Brian Ogden, the Mississippi State SID, told me a story about Nadia Barbary and her dad, who has to come up with nicknames for everyone. Now, Brockenbrough already goes by Jam. Everybody calls her Jam. But Mr. Barbary decided to call her Jelly during their travel ball season, just to shake things up and add a new nickname, as Brockenbrough and Barbary both grew up in the same area of Georgia. Fans thought that might have been strike 3 there from Crosby. Instead, it's 1-2 here to Ernstess.
Yeah.
There's your story.
That's the story?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere with it.
I went somewhere.
Just change the nickname.
Yeah, just change the nickname. We're only in the 2nd inning. I'll go somewhere with stories maybe in the 5th.
All right. That's something to hang around for anyway. If you got another good story in the 5th, I'll stay.
You don't have an option. Ernstess ahead of Romero, the 9-hitter. She'll spoil the 2-2. It's about time we got some warm weather here in 2026. A brutal February in the books. Not too brutal for Mississippi State, though. Their 17-win month sets the record for most to open a month in program history. As Brockenbrough gets a good jump on this jammed fly ball, and there's 2 outs.
You worked jammed into that, didn't you? I saw that.
Are you a strawberry jam guy or a grape jam with your peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Well, I don't eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I eat peanut butter sandwiches, but on toast, I like strawberry.
Okay. I like strawberry on a bagel and grape on my peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big-time Smucker's guy.
Yeah, you are. Zion Romero, 0 for 1 yesterday, pinch hitting. Gets the start here in the 9 spot, trying to turn the lineup around to Morgan Stiles.
If anybody from Smucker's is listening, I can give you the address where to send the check for the advertisement.
Yeah, we should get you a little logo on your shirt. You saw they officially have adopted the NCAA's new policy allowing an extra patch in the 2027 season.
Oh, we're going NASCAR, baby.
We are going a bit of NASCAR, a bit of golf, I would say.
Yeah.
Just a touch of class, and we'll see what Clemson partners with and whether it's a school-specific or sport-specific deal.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to throw something on the leotards.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can just hear it now, you know. The coaches are going to be trained to talk about the such and such chicken. Clemson Tiger team had a great day today.
A 4-pitch walk to the 9-hitter. And that sets things up for Morgan Stiles here with 2 outs.
Now, Stiles led off this game watching 4 straight. She likes to swing the bat. And after a walk, you better be very careful what you throw her.
Stiles has extended her on-base streak. Has reached an all but 1 this season. She'll foul back the first. And you wonder, after 0 walks yesterday, Manis only threw 84 pitches. Feels like the identity of Mississippi State is aggressiveness, but today, as you mentioned, a little bit more patient.
I think so. I think they've made a pretty good adjustment.
0-1 to Stiles.
I feel badly for Hames. Excuse me, I didn't mean to step on you, but I feel badly for Hames because I got a feeling her outing was injury related from when she did something to her throwing finger on Friday.
1-1, driven deep to left. Pavesi reaches up. Did not get the best jump, but her height and depth pays off. It's a clean inning for Kira Crosby. Strong play there by Pavesi. Takes us to the bottom of the second.
That young woman is a player.
In here in a few innings as the ACC Tournament Championship. That last season run was something to remember, wasn't it? With all those clutch hits and then Ava Wilson earning that MVP award.
Johnny Ballgame looking good today down there in that third base coaching box.
I should say Taylor Pipkins. Wilson also had a few of those clutch home runs late in the season for Clemson. As Rittman in his 7th season after spending 18 with Stanford. Looking for a 1,001st win here today.
Looking quite sophisticated today.
Julia Noller, a part of that strong campaign last season. She got better as the year went on, and Clemson fans are optimistic that the .229 batting average is just an early season facade. Noller, a veteran hitter at the plate, usually a lot more confident with runners in scoring position. We saw yesterday, just puts the ball in play when she needs to.
Yes, and she's gonna hit. Same thing could be said for Centron. They're off the slow starts, but they'll hit.
Gould misses high on 1 and 2 as Noller had a sacrifice fly in the first inning yesterday. She's 2 for 7 in the Tiger Invitational. A wicked curve up in the zone for strike 3.
Yeah, that was a very good pitch. Got Noller to chase it.
Would you believe me if I said that was only 59 miles an hour, fooling the hitters?
Yes. Right now, she's mixing speeds, and that is, right now, the early story of her success.
Certainly working as Macy Cintron, the ACC Freshman of the Year, falls behind in the count 0-1. A home run and a triple this weekend for Cintron as she's bumped that batting average up almost 40 points.
And she's another product of the Georgia high school system. Clemson is laced with a lot of players from the state of Georgia. Georgia is a hotbed for summer travel softball and high school softball, so that's not a surprise.
1-1, catches the zone, says home plate umpire Sean Shoemaker, and it's 1 and 2.
A lot of people don't know it, but the state line is only about 20 miles away from here. And so it's easy to know why a lot of kids from Georgia end up over here at this great school.
Cintron reaches, grounds out to a fella Peach State native in Barbary, and there's 2 outs.
Barbary is a fine defender. I mean, she can really slap the leather over there.
Clemson fans hoping that this hitter becomes a fine defender at third as well. We've seen sparks of it from Sarah Bro as she has earned more and more playing time, the newcomer from Miami Springs. Was able to sneak a ground ball fair down the third base line to add an insurance run in the 4th. She'll jump ahead in the count 2-0. 5 up, 5 down for Peja Gould in the circle. Just a little get me over front door curveball, no big deal.
She, like I said, she's mixing speeds, and that is a very good thing. I'm sure that that's part of their game plan. I don't know exactly who calls the pitches, because you got 2 former All-American pitchers in the Mississippi State dugout. One's the head coach, and the other one is Corinne.
Got Moat in there as well as Bro splits the gap in left center, picks up a 2-out hit. It's an extra base hit for Clemson's first knock of the day.
Corinne Moat joins Ricketts over there in the Mississippi State dugout, and I know that they both, like I said, had like historic types of careers as a pitcher and a hitter in Ricketts' case.
Yeah, she was a southpaw, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Brings up Corey Hicks, transfer from the alma mater of Mississippi State's coach in Ricketts, as Hicks played sparingly for Oklahoma last season and has brought her bat into this 2026 season, hitting .310 with 3 long balls.
See, there was an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, Gould just ambushes you, doesn't she?
Yes.
Jumps ahead in the count here again.
I would think you'd see another off-speed pitch right here.
And it's a curve out of the zone. You can call it off speed, you can call it nasty, as Peja Gould, 3 early strikeouts in 2 scoreless here on this Sunday afternoon. State, as the Bulldogs, with just 5 errors this season through 19 games, and Alyssa Faircloth helping that strikeout per 7 ratio. She sits top 5 in the nation. But how about Coach Ricketts and this hot-hitting offense? They really are well-rounded.
Yes, they are. First of all, I got to make a correction and an apology to Coach Ricketts. I had the wrong Ricketts. Samantha Ricketts, the coach of Mississippi State, was the catcher first baseman. Her sister was a pitcher. Talk about feeling like a knucklehead.
Meanwhile, Nadia Barbary at the plate in front of Sells and Bernardini, as Barbary takes a strike there from Crosby. Slow roller over to short. First chance for Chanel today, and the FAU transfer has brought her Golden Glove up to South Carolina.
Nice play that time.
So this sets things up for the 1 hit today from Mississippi State and Kiara Sells, and a look at her numbers thus far here this weekend in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak as well. She takes a changeup for a strike.
I wonder why Chanel didn't choose the number 5. That way she could have been Chanel number 5. You see what I mean?
I don't think you had to explain it. I felt like it was a good, joke.
Marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, marketing. Come on, I'm always thinking sales.
What do you think she would have had to pay Marion Collins to get that number?
I don't know.
A purse?
But well, part of the NIL money
perfume
from Chanel.
1-1 count to Sells, and she rockets one deep to left. Pavesi watches it fly. Sells delivers with her 7th home run of the season and doubles the lead.
And that's what you got to know about the middle part of this batting order. They're up there 2 swing, and she got one she could handle, and she turned on it, and it got out of here easily. Look right here. Boom. Right down the middle end part of the plate. She was able to turn on it, and there was nothing anybody could do.
228-foot blast. Only 1 Bulldog has a hit today. It Sells with a pair.
That ball was well struck.
Brings up Morgan Bernardini, lined out sharply to Collins in the first, and she'll take strike 1 here from Crosby.
And that was off speed.
One pitch misses down and inside. Kira Crosby, freshman from Texas. It's another slow roller over to Chanel. A good bounce back after the home run for the second out.
It sure is. Go right back to pitching. That's all you can do.
We talked about it a bit in the open here, Coach. 12 groundouts created by Manis against this Bulldog offense yesterday. What does that tell you when you see it in a box score compared to maybe 12 strikeouts?
Listen, 12 ground ball outs are gold because you can get a ground out on one pitch or two pitches in an at bat. You know you got to throw at least 3 to get a strikeout. I mean, so coaches love ground balls. I used to tell my pitchers all the time, and you can quote me on it because people know that I've said this. You give me 21 ground balls and I'll make an All-American out of you, because we're going to have an infield that can throw and catch.
0-2 to Des Rivera, misses high and outside. And on the outside looking in, it certainly feels like when you can get your defense involved and keep them,
well, it's just
from getting rusty.
It saves on. Well, look at her pitch count.
This is a gapper from Rivera, well placed in that left center field hole. Brockenbrough comes up throwing, but Des Rivera slides in safely, and it's her second double of the season.
Yep. She was able to get a lot of the bat on that ball. If you watch this, where this ball drifts. And then like a shot, it goes out there off the wall, right by the Founders sign.
An opportunity to put together a 2-out rally, as we will see a runner replace Rivera at second. That's Ali Supan.
How could you let me go with the wrong
Ricketts?
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting, when you said it, right off the bat, I thought, man, it's interesting that a pitcher had their home run record. And then I quickly looked up Ricketts, Oklahoma, and it pulled up her sister. But it was such a quick pull that I was not going to, correct a legend.
Yeah, right.
So I just rolled with it.
What about all the other times you've corrected me?
That's when I was sure.
Yeah.
It's a little different. It's just our first weekend together.
Well,
Scott, we'll be back in a couple weeks for Louisville and Clemson. I'll try to keep the corrections to a minimum.
No, I'm going to get the mistakes to a minimum.
All right.
I'm just going to call people by numbers and not names.
Abby Grace Richardson, late on a couple swings in the count 1-2.
See, that's a flaw in that plan, because when Clemson wears their white uniforms, there's no way I can call them by their numbers because I cannot see them with these ancient eyes of mine.
Yes, the white on white is certainly not with the broadcaster in mind, or the PA announcer, but at least it's not a fast-moving lacrosse soccer style sport.
Yeah, could you imagine calling a hockey or lacrosse game with those kind of numbers?
Unfortunately, I can imagine.
Yeah, okay.
Meanwhile, Abby Grace Richardson would love to imagine a 2-out base knock, because Mississippi State does not have an RBI yet in this 2-game stretch with a runner on base. Scored in the first inning on a wild pitch, and then a solo home run here today.
That's an interesting stat right there.
Thank you.
They've not drove a runner in while on base. Huh.
Thank you. Proud of that. Could change here, though, for Richardson. 2-2 changeup off of the glove of Chanel, and there is that first RBI hit today. Sells had a home run this inning. Richardson drives in the pinch runner Supin, and the lead is 3.
And there was a pitch that leveling that bat that kind of got away from the pitcher. See, that ball was out over the plate. She didn't try to do too much with it. The pinch runner had an easy time of scoring.
Associate head coach Tyler Bratton is fired up about it. Bulldogs looking to avenge the loss as Troutman swings over the first pitch. Sliding safely on the stolen bases, Richardson.
And this is what Mississippi State does. We're going to have a request to see if the runner left early. That's not going to tell us.
Well, let's see if the tag is made just a bit late.
No, they're looking to see if she left early from first base. This is not about out safe at second base. This appeal is about the runner leaving early. You cannot leave until the ball is out of the pitcher's hand. You can't leave until release. And she was a little early, I think. Let's look again now.
Great job by our replay crew to see the exact moment the ball is released. Oh, this is going to be tight here, Scott.
Yes, it may be.
Foot is off, ball is out, right there. Let's see if we can go one frame back.
When it pays to have big feet if you're a base runner. Because your foot is on the bag goes a little bit longer. I don't know what they're going to call.
It's just so tough to find the moment the ball is still in Crosby's hand. Foot is off the bag there, but is the ball out of the hand? That's the question.
I think the ball's still.
There's the ball in the hand and the foot potentially off the bag. I'm not sure you can overturn this.
I don't either, but I think.
Ball in hand.
There's going to be one head coach upset no matter what.
Well, yesterday there was a massive overturn. It does seem like the foot is off the bag here.
Yeah, and so we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not going to speculate, but it is close.
Well, Coach Rittman probably feeling like he's owed one after that overturn on an RBI triple by Sam Minish in the fourth inning yesterday. And that was without replay review. The call was overturned, fair or foul. How about this, Coach? You can use this angle.
Everything she's done so far is okay. Still okay. Still okay.
I think she's out early.
She's out.
Great job.
That is a fabulous job of camera work. That is a fabulous job.
And so the inning may potentially be over if this call is reversed. Sending us to the bottom of the third inning. The 8-9-1 due up for the Tigers.
Well, they're staying in there a long time, aren't they?
They are. There must be some air conditioning.
Knowing umpires as well as I do, there's probably food in there. Probably sitting down having a nosh.
Mississippi State leads 3-0. If the call is confirmed or stands, there's a runner at second with 2 outs. And the count is 0-1. Sean Shoemaker. And the call does stand. There's even a moment of hesitation. No confirmed, but it stands. And to an extent, if a review takes long enough, I am not upset with it always standing.
No, I
mean, a blanket rule.
They looked at everything they could.
So an opportunity again for Taylor Troutman, who flew out to center last inning. See, now you talked about food. The barbecue from the tailgates for baseball is starting to waffle into the press box up here.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here working.
0-2 from Crosby. This is poked into shallow center. Chanel is there. And a solo shot by Kiara Sells sparks a 2-run inning for the Bulldogs. Gives Gould some insurance into the bottom of the third. Not many better places to be than a college baseball, softball tailgate as fans are enjoying the festivities ahead of a doubleheader of Clemson sports. Baseball takes on the Gamecocks at 3 o'clock. Softball looking to make a comeback here.
Yes, they are. And we came back and we were taking a look at the deep end out in the right field corner. I visited the deep end before the game today. And that is a fun place to be.
They're hoping for a reason to cheer. Peja Gould has quieted the Clemson bats through 2 innings and now has a 3-run lead as she starts Kylie Chanel with strike 1. Chanel, who started all 56 games last season for the Owls of Florida Atlantic, hit .330. Both as a freshman and a sophomore, she hit .330.
Yes.
It's consistency.
Yeah, that is. And she's a good player.
With Minish on deck, Clemson looking to turn their lineup around, and then stick with us for the top of the 4th inning. We will chat with the newly minted member of the 1,000 win club in Coach John Rittman.
That's a great accomplishment by a fine, fine man.
Chanel off of the glove of Bernardini in left center. It's a leadoff double for the junior shortstop.
And maybe that's the catalyst they need. I think it would be huge for Clemson to score 1 run. But if they score 2, that's gravy. And you see right here, she stayed right on it and drove it.
Game of inches, isn't it?
And it's the game within the game, the adjustments you got to make. You're facing a pitcher today that's doing a pretty good job of changing speeds on you. So you as a hitter, you've got to make that adjustment and know that that's a possibility.
Brings up Sam Minish, who takes strike 1. Minish was 0 for 2 yesterday, but possibly could have been 1 for 2 with an RBI triple. However, it was ruled foul after an umpire review. She'll take low and outside, 1-1. Minish looking for that second RBI.
And she wants to move the runner, have a productive at bat. If you don't get a single, at least get it over on the left side of the diamond where you move the runner. Right side of the diamond.
Yeah, Brockenbrough, Pavesi, Collins to follow. There's that whipping curveball. Evens the count 2-2. Chanel at second. Second consecutive inning with a runner in scoring position for Clemson, but this time there's nobody out and the count is full.
Having a good at bat, she just needs to finish it off by either reaching or moving the runner.
3-2 from Goulds. Sky deep to center. Richardson on her horse at the wall, has room for the first out. Closer play than Chanel expected at third, but it is a productive out.
And that's something right there. It does not cost you anything to slide and to hustle to the bag. And she almost ended up with an embarrassing situation.
With the wind blowing out to right, it almost carried that swing out for Minish's first career home run. Instead, it's up to Brockenbrough to drive in this run. With the infield creeping in, this will not get it done. Brockenbrough thought she might have avoided the tag, but ruled out by Tim Casati for the second out of the inning. Brockenbrough standing at first base, but the out was recorded. We may have another challenge coming here.
Brockenbrough doesn't think she was tagged. She stood still. She did what you're supposed to do.
Clemson will use their second challenge now after losing one last inning.
Well, this one may take weeks.
We'll see. Coach Repley had a great view there, but a tag play is much more definitive than the leaving the base early.
The first baseman played it absolutely right. She fielded the ball and, ran toward the base runner. Now, you cannot back up once you start to first base. You can back up on any other base, but if you back away from a tag,
you're out.
Well, you're automatically out. I don't think Brockenbrough took a step back. I think she took a pivot and perhaps thinks that they missed the tag. But we'll have to see how it works out.
As it stands, a runner at third with 2 outs for Pavesi. Here's our first look.
Okay, there she goes. We stop. You can't tell whether she's tagged or not right there, but certainly with a naked eye right here, it looks like she was tagged.
You can see the eyes of Ernstess, and it does seem like the tag was made. Here's our second look. It is close, though.
Sure is. Again, I think that's a play that you can't overturn.
Ooh, what a job by Brockenbrough. At least to give the appearance that it missed her. Nevertheless, a massive opportunity at the plate for the freshman Pavesi. Either a runner at third and 2 outs, or runners on the corners with 1 out.
Now that almost looks like they missed her. But I think I see the shirt ruffle a little bit. Oh, that's just too close for me to make a decision, so I would think it's too close to overturn.
Oh, now that angle shows potentially a distance between the shirt and the glove.
Boy, it sure does, doesn't it? Look at that.
Now the fans here at McWhorter do not get a replay, or else there would be an uproar.
Oh, you don't want to show replays at a ball game. I don't know how they get away with it at football games. They do it at football games all the time, but you don't want. I don't like replays to be shown during a ball game. Let's see what we got here.
It seems like they may be calling her out. And Clemson is presumably out of challenges now as well. But that explanation, Coach, I'm not a lip reader, but it made it seem like maybe she was out of the... They're out of options.
Well,
either out of the base path, or it was more than just a she was tagged conversation.
She was not out of the base path.
Yeah, I don't disagree there.
Yeah,
regardless, it's Pavesi and an 0-1 count here as Clemson has been on the shorter side of now 3 important calls in the last 2 games against Mississippi State.
They need to get this runner in desperately. You can't waste a leadoff double.
Pavesi grounds one over to Romero, and the Bulldogs escape again. We're going to chat with Coach Rittman when we come back as Mississippi State leads by 3 into the 4th. On a gorgeous Sunday afternoon, and a pitching change as Olivia Duncan takes over in the circle. We're joined now by the newly minted member of the 1,000 Win Club, Coach Rittman. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You know, let's talk a little bit about Olivia Duncan. She was superb in relief work on Friday. What adjustments has she made moving into a kind of a veteran role?
Well, I just think she's a competitor and she wants to pitch. She wants a role on this team, and she's worked really hard for it. Her velocity's up. She's able to hit spots. She's a left-handed pitcher, so it's the only lefty we got, so it shows them a little different look here.
What adjustments are you going to show? I mean, talk to your hitters about with this, try to put a dent in the pitching that Mississippi State's throwing at you.
Yeah, you know, she's throwing 3 different speeds, which is tough, as you know, Scott. And we just got to be aggressive and be ready to hit. I think we're getting caught up in the different speeds. We got to have that yes, yes, yes mindset and just let our eyes be our brakes if it's an off speed or not a strike. And we're just a little defensive those first couple of innings. But Bro had a good at bat, and Chanel had a good at bat. So hopefully we can string some together. Olivia keeps it close here for us.
Well, you got to help me out get out of the doghouse. I didn't say hello to Miss Judy yesterday.
Oh, Lordy, you're in trouble, buddy.
I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Coach.
Uh-huh.
John Rittman, in his 7th season at the helm, became the 11th active coach to jump into that 1,000-win club. And you talk about Duncan, 3 strong innings from Kira Crosby, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits, and now we'll see a crafty lefty after a good start for her out of the pen on Friday.
And she needs to give the Clemson Ball Club some innings and needs to hold things right there. To put a bow on my comment to John Rittman, when I said Miss Judy, I'm talking about the mother of Lori Rittman, John's mother-in-law, Miss Judy. She watches us from the West Coast.
Tatum Silva, pinch hitter in the 8th spot to start the 4th inning. And this is blooped beautifully with the third baseman Bro in. Well-placed single to lead off the frame for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that was jammed her a little bit, and she just flipped it out there in that little triangle that nobody can get to. The only thing that's going to stay in the book, though, is a single to left.
You talk about a coach manufacturing a game brilliantly. A great decision there. The pinch hit choice. Things have rolled the right way for Samantha Ricketts here through 3 innings. Zion Romero ahead in the count 1-0. She walked on 4 pitches back in the 2nd. Meanwhile, for Duncan, she had 6 relief appearances last season, 1.66 ERA, and just 12 innings of work. It's bunt by Romero, tails foul, and it's 1-2.
Good idea trying to sack the runner. Now she wants to put the ball in play. The 9-hole hitter, if you're Duncan, you want to go get her.
1-2 count. Strike 3 at the knees. Minish popped out of the crouch. Still got the benefit of the call.
That was a good job of staying with it if you're the umpire on that play because the catcher can distract you, but it didn't happen there.
6th strikeout of the young season for Duncan, just her 7th inning of work this year. She went 3 2/3 against Georgia Southern, nearly put a bow on that, but 7th inning got out of hand. 3 unearned runs allowed by Olivia as Morgan Stiles fouls back the 0-1.
Duncan, another product from the state of Georgia. Buford, Georgia.
1-2 the count. Stiles walked and scored in the 1st, flew out to left in the 2nd.
You got Georgians up the middle, one behind the plate, one on the mound, one at 2nd, and one in center.
That finds the shortstop, Chanel. Her snap throw and the double play attempt will lead to an extra base here for Silva as it found its way into the dugout. Nearly a 2nd double play in this series for Chanel.
I would guess that's an L6 and an E6. I believe that's how you score that.
I believe so as well. It's a Lee 6. Brings up Nadia Barbary. She'll take low and outside. Duncan certainly does not waste time in the circle. Looking to keep Sells in that on-deck circle until the 5th.
Yes, sir.
With Silva at second. Pinchette leadoff single. There's a look at Sells on deck. 1-1. Just misses outside. Two and two.
Umpire getting more softballs. Minish out talking to Duncan. Now umpire Schumacher is going to break it up.
Barbary, another one of those Georgians, has played travel ball with 3 or 4 of the Tigers, including Duncan in the circle.
Yeah, how about that?
Cintron and Brockenbrough as well. Brooke McCubbin too. As Barbary finds this into center field. Silva gets the green light. Brockenbrough's throw is good, but the left-handed tag of Minish on a terrific slide by Silva could not be planted. It's 4-0.
Well, the throw was a little bit offline. It was over in the left-handed batter's box. And by the time Minish caught it and she did not have time to get back to the plate.
What a slide. What a look from our replay crew as well. As Sells on the first pitch pops it to Bro. Mississippi State continues tacking on runs. 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. We'll be back next. At Clemson's ace, and her last 3 outings, you have a tremendous start at Georgia, Baylor, as well as the top 25 win against Mississippi State yesterday. Sierra Manis, you never know, she may be available later in this one here, Coach.
If needed. I don't think you'll see her as long as Clemson's behind, but if they get a lead, you may see her. It's not uncommon to see a Friday, Sunday outing by pitchers in softball. Of course, in baseball, you got to wait about 5 or 6 days after every start, but not in this sport.
And once conference play starts next weekend, you wonder what the balance may be of the Tigers' pitching strategy as Marion Collins leads things off. The 3-4-5 here for the Tigers in the 4th.
And I think it's very much unsettled as to who comes after Manis. I really do. I don't really have an answer for you there.
Yeah, we haven't seen Abby Dunning this weekend, the Boston College transfer who was hurt most of last season. We've seen both freshmen Hames and Crosby today, as well as Olivia Duncan there a moment ago. Meanwhile, the Tigers are starting to peel away on that Peja Gould's outer layer.
Well,
she'll find the strike zone. The count's 2-1.
We heard Coach Rittman talk about the fact she changes speeds very well.
Collins pops one fair down the left field line into foul territory. Bernardini makes a diving play.
Great play there by the left fielder. She had to run a long way, and she stayed with it. She did everything just like you teach. And you got to remember, this ball is tailing away from her off a left-handed bat. When she got down, she got her head up immediately to find out where the fence was so she could protect herself. Very well done.
Brings up Julia Noller, who cannot hold her swing on that pitch by Gould. As the senior from California, Peja Gould, has set down the leadoff hitter in 3 of 4 innings thus far and has kept the Tigers at bay. Clemson had an opportunity with a runner at third and 1 out in the third. That tag play on Brockenbrough, a bit controversial. So now Clemson looking for some late game magic as Noller flies one out to Bernardini in a much simpler play for the left fielder for out number 2. An opportunity here for Macy Cintron. Bases empty, 2 outs. Is this a moment where a power hitter can kind of swing for the fences a bit?
You just put your best swing on the ball. One of the worst ways to hit a home run is be up there trying to hit a home run. Hit line drives and it'll leave the park.
Meanwhile, a defensive substitution as Tatum Silva takes over in center and Abby Grace Richardson in her normal first base spot. Mississippi State has settled into that take the lead, make defensive changes part of the game.
And thus far, and you got to tip your hat to Gould, Clemson has not put any pressure on the defense or the pitching.
Cintron 0 for 1 today with a ground out. She'll jump ahead in the count 3-1 though, with Bro on deck.
I guess you could say the leadoff double might have been a little bit of pressure, but it's just today's been all about Mississippi State so far.
Cintron was sitting on that front door curve. Fouls it off, and the count stays 3-2 now on that foul ball. Top of the 5th inning, we'll see Bernardini, Rivera, and Richardson. Down on strikes goes the sophomore. 4 Ks through 4 shutout innings for Peja Gould. Takes us to the 5th here on ACC Network Extra. Early in the first with a couple walks, a pitching change for Clemson led to this aggressive base running run by Morgan Stiles. And then in the third, Kiara Sells disposed her second home run of the weekend to left field. You saw a moment ago an opportunity taken advantage of with an error by Chanel. RBI driven in on the singles by Richardson, and then Barbary have us sitting with a 4-0 Bulldog lead. What a change it's been in one day to the other. 0 for in runners on base yesterday here, and Coach 3 for 8 with runners on scoring position today.
Well, we knew that Mississippi State was a good team. We knew that they got held in check yesterday. This doesn't surprise me. What I was hoping to see was the aggression and the pitch selection and everything that Clemson displayed yesterday would have rolled over, but by Coach Rittman's own words, they're having trouble adjusting to the change of speeds, and that's why it's 4-0. That, and you had to throw an error in there that helped score another run.
There's an unearned run for Olivia Duncan last inning on that error. As Bernardini leads things off, Pavesi has moved from left to right. Oh no, this got in and hit Olivia Duncan.
And it did. It came right back at her. I'm not sure what it hit. It may have got her in the throat. And maybe she, hopefully, that it did not hit her flush, but it looked like it did. Look, like she's holding her throat, isn't she? Yeah, it hit her just under her chin. The mask protected the face, but
just a terrifying moment. You mention it, Duncan wearing the mask, threw it off immediately.
And I think you're going to see a change on the mound. I think I see, if I'm not mistaken, well, maybe not.
Yeah, let's take a look. If you are at all not wanting to watch, I do not blame you.
Yeah.
And luckily, it was not a direct hit. Seemed to have ricocheted up to the neck.
And it looked like it kind of off the end of the collarbone up to the neck. Let's see. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, then.
And that's unnerving.
Windpipe, yeah, cannot imagine.
I mean, that's unnerving. I can tell you that right now.
It is a leadoff single for Bernardini and a new pitcher in the circle for the Tigers. We will tell you about her in just a minute. We are going to step away here in the fifth. Has unfortunately chased Olivia Duncan into the clubhouse, but it brings an opportunity, as so many things do in this sport. And it's the debut of Maddie Johnson, 5'10" freshman right-hander, who will come in the middle of the fifth inning, facing Des Rivera. We're going to see a lot of hard and down here from this freshman from Ainer.
And this is her first appearance of the year.
She'll get a strike here on Rivera.
So she should be well rested.
A pinch runner in the form of Kinley Keller over at first base. As Rivera fouls back the 1-1. Good crowd here. Part of a twofer in the complex, with baseball starting in about an hour against the Gamecocks. As Minish rises to grab that 1-2 pitch. And you have to imagine that this game may hang in the balance of this inning.
There's a lot to be said for that. This inning could be very key.
This is fair from Rivera down the third baseline. Keller beats the throw, and there are runners at second and third now with nobody out.
And there's really, if you're John Rittman, there's really not a lot you can do right now. You've already burnt 3 pitchers. You got the 4th one of the day out there presently, and you're down 4 runs. You certainly are not going to use Manus in a situation like this. This is one of those times where you may just have to sit there and take your medicine.
Yeah, maybe you find a diamond in the rough,
Maybe
making
so.
her collegiate debut as Abby Grace Richardson ahead in the count 1-0. Drove in the runner in Supan, who ran for Rivera back in the 3rd inning. This is a regional perennial team in the Bulldogs. They reached the Supers 4 years ago. Have been a mainstay in the postseason since.
Well, both of these teams are accustomed to playing in May.
Yep, Clemson has made the regionals in every year eligible. Take away that COVID canceled season. But certainly not a lopsided effort to be ashamed of if you're a Tiger fan, if Mississippi State comes back and evens this weekend series.
Today's been a weird game.
It has been from the get-go.
Yeah.
3-1 pitch, line to center. Brockenbrough on her back foot, wisely throws to third, and the lead is 5-0 on the sac fly. Look at Keller tagging. If you just joined us, the top of the first inning started in such a wacky way. Lexi Hames got the start. Looked a little jittery from the get-go, threw 8 straight balls and was removed immediately for Kira Crosby, who worked around the jam. 1 run ended up scoring on a wild pitch. And then slowly but surely, insurance runs have been tacked on.
They have accumulated.
Brings up Abigail Stevens, who is hitting in the 7 spot for Taylor Troutman. 2 for 4 on the young season for Stevens, the freshman. Listed as a pitcher, given an opportunity here. She delivers her 3rd hit of the season. Will not be an RBI though, as Rivera is held at 3rd, and Abigail Stevens puts runners at 1st and 3rd with 1 out.
And Brockenbrough did a good job of hustling in center field, not letting that ball get through the gap. And watch, she gets all of her body into that throw back into the infield.
And I believe we'll have another pinch hitter here as Tatum Silva make her 2nd appearance at the plate here today, and Greta Grassel will run over at first base. So Silva, who replaced Ernst's hitting last inning, took over in center field. Now an opportunity to drive in more runs.
The Bulldogs are doing exactly what they're supposed to do right now. They're trying to put great separation between them and Clemson and possibly end the game early. So right now it's about tallying up the difference in the score.
Look at Grassel at first. That 8th run in the form of Silva at the plate, as Grassel will take 2nd without a throw. And as you mentioned, dear coach, every insurance run more and more important to try to eliminate a chance at a late comeback.
There's an old adage, you play hard until you're 8 ahead. And once you if you get 8 runs up, then you may quit stealing, you may quit tagging up and stuff like that. But until you're 8 runs ahead, I mean, you're still wide open.
Rise ball fouled away. Count 2-2 now to Silva. She singled to left field on that little blue pop-up. Scored on the Barbary single last inning.
The parking lots around this part of campus are really filling up now because they're getting ready to tee it up over there for some baseball in a bit.
2-2. This is driven well to left center, way into that range of Johnson. Kylie Johnson ranges over. Her throw is wide as Mississippi State tacks on another, and it's 6-0 on the 2nd sac fly of the inning.
They're just chipping away. The throw was well up the first base line. Minish had absolutely nothing she could do but go get the ball.
To the 9 spot in Zion Romero. All things considered, Maddie Johnson making her collegiate debut with a runner on base. Has allowed a few flyouts and a single. She'll catch the zone here, and it's 1-1.
She's not shown any signs of being like scared or nervous out there. And I'm sure there's butterflies all about her, but it's good that she don't show it.
And now 1 strike away from giving their offense a chance. Down by 6, big inning. All of a sudden brings this game within sight.
The Bulldogs have scored in every inning except the second. That is a textbook example of chip away, chip away, chip away.
6 runs on 9 hits. Meanwhile, the Tigers have 2. This is hit well to right field. Back is Pavesi. She cannot corral it at the warning track. Romero with an RBI triple, and the lead is 7.
That ball just kept carrying. It was out there where the wind was blowing. Pavesi was at the mercy of the wind, and the wind just kept blowing the ball, and it kept tailing away.
Rassel scores without a throw. And now Morgan Stiles can drive in the important 8th run. 2-out opportunity. She'll take strike 1 on a good-looking curveball. 6, 7, 8 due up for the Tigers in the bottom half. Bro, Hicks, and Chanel. Oh, I think that was a mistake by the home plate umpire. It fooled everyone in this ballpark, including yours truly, but seemed to be a strike.
And if she has that pitch, she needs to use it more.
That is a 40-mile-an-hour changeup. And then Stiles promptly grounds out. So bend but don't break there for Maddie Johnson in her collegiate debut. It's a 7-run lead into the bottom half. SEC Network crew, produced by Easton, directed by Jason. And how about we give a little love to all of our cameramen and women that have dedicated countless hours. They deserve a sunny day, don't they, Scott?
They sure do. They've worked in some rotten weather so far this year. But I was out there earlier today checking out the center field tower, and that's a good place to sit. That guy should take some seats out there with him and charge premium money for people to sit up there with him during the game. And, of course, send me half of the money since it was my idea.
Yeah, there you go. Another look at the perch down that right field foul line.
Yeah.
Nothing like wearing shorts on the first day of March to make anyone in the Northeast a little jealous. I got a text that it's 40 degrees in New York, and they're rejoicing.
Yeah.
We're happy it's 70. Meanwhile, Bro, Hicks, and Chanel looking to spark a rally here for the Tigers against the 2-time SoCon Pitcher of the Year, Peja Gould. Just 2 hits, 1 by Bro. Clemson still looking for their first single here today.
Yeah, and Gould's done a great job today of mixing speeds and spots and all the things you do to pitch. And
we do have a new outfield. Sells, the younger sister of Kiara, is Kimura. She's in center. Silva moves to left. And the freshman, or check that, Kalani is in center. Kalani Sells. And the freshman, Kinley Keller, in right field as Bro works the walk. And that's all you can ask for if you're Clemson base runners here.
You're exactly right. And while you were resetting that outfield, as soon as you said the word sister, I got out of it. I was going to have nothing to do with the conversation.
Well, an opportunity here for Corey Hicks, as Bro will have a runner for her at first. It's Kennedy Ariel. And we saw Corey Hicks send a ball a long way on Friday, a 265-foot home run against Wofford. Flipped the game on its head.
It wasn't 265 yards?
No, I thought about it.
Well, it was yesterday and Friday.
I know. Gould in that patented front door breaking ball. This is inside 1-0 as Ariel provides speed. 3rd season as the go-to pinch runner here for Coach Rittman.
I know I would love to have a pitcher like Gould on my staff because she's a little different. than what you see normally from the pitching staff at Mississippi State, but she has really got a nice game.
Strike on the inner half there against Hicks, and right when you think she's going to go back to the curveball, if you're Gould, a screwball in on the hands to fool the hitter, and it's 1-2. There's the curve again, and Hicks flummoxed for out number 1.
She has not looked good today.
A couple strikeouts yesterday against Faircloth, a couple strikeouts today against Gould.
It's not only that she's striking out, she's missing the ball a long way. I mean, her eyes and the ball are not in sync right now.
We'll bring up Chanel. 304 hitter this season, and this is a rope to left field. 1-out single, and Clemson's first single today, their 3rd hit.
There you go. And if you're going to try to get back in this game, this is what you got to do. Is you got to get a bunch of people on base and hope somebody gets a hold of one. Because they're not going to hurt them. They're not going to beat themselves. Mississippi State is not going to beat themselves. They are a very well-coached team. So you're going to have to hit your way on base.
See, Peja Gould, not often do you see the pitchers kind of dancing to the music. They're so locked in, but this senior is loosey-goosey in the circle, which is an advantage, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Brings up Sam Minish, who flew out to deep center field in her only at-bat, as Ariel takes advantage of a ball in the dirt, scoots out to 3rd, and the count 1-0.
And when you got a 7-run lead, you can be a little loosey-goosey out there.
You can. And when you have a 7-run lead, do you consider throwing through to second here? Oh, we're gonna have to wait because I believe we have a challenge on whether Ariel left early. When you have a 7-run lead, do you challenge?
No.
Does that tell you that Coach Ricketts considers Clemson to be an opponent to be worried more about?
Well, it shows you that Coach Ricketts wants this shutout, because they're a very prideful team. They're a very good team, and she saw somebody in that dugout saw something. You usually assign somebody to watch the runners.
Yep.
And somebody gave her the word, and she's making the call. But this is not being unfair or rubbing it in or anything at all like that. But if I'm up 7, I'm just going to let the game work itself out, particularly when you're this late in it.
And it's not even close. The ball was released, and Ariel's foot was still on the bag.
Yeah.
So whoever's job that was
got a little anxious.
Now, if you want to talk gamesmanship, is there a world where this gives some time for your pitcher to, I don't know, you fill in the blank. Is this something with Mississippi State wanting to give Gould an opportunity to just take a breath?
You could consider it as if it's one of those 30-second timeouts in basketball.
Yeah, you'll see it in volleyball as well. Maybe
Right.
you burn a challenge if you don't have a timeout. So after a lot of call on the field stands, we have our first confirmed today. So I'll ask you this. You're up by 7. Are you throwing through if Clemson elects to steal second?
Yes, I'm going to get the out.
Yeah.
I'll give you a run for an out right now.
So the question is whether Chanel will try.
I would be surprised if they did, because they need base runners badly.
Not moving as the 1-0 pitch misses outside to Sam Minish with Brockenbrough on deck.
You got the 9-hole hitter up who's hitting under 200. I think you need base runners any way you can get them.
And Minish watches one outside. We'll see if she takes a few here as the count is 3-0, and you mentioned it, Clemson needs runners.
Rittman don't need to give her a signal. He just needs to say, don't you dare swing.
And And it's a 4-pitch walk, so the challenge decision, a bit of a stall tactic that does not work out. Meanwhile, the challenge was on a 1-0 pitch. Rivera at home plate thought the count was 3-0.
Yeah.
And the bases are loaded now for Brockenbrough as the legendary Taryn Moat McKinney, national champion with Arizona as a pitcher, comes out to get a vibe check.
I cannot see very well down into the dugout of, the bullpen of Mississippi State. I don't know if they've had anybody at all throwing.
I do not believe so.
But
only 73 pitches for Gould.
We got a change coming, though.
Yeah, someone was ready beforehand. And we have a new pitcher in Alyssa Faircloth, the lefty, when we come back. The pen in Alyssa Faircloth, who went 4 strong innings yesterday, striking out 7. Had 11 strikeouts on Wednesday at Georgia Tech as one of the nation's top strikeout arms. Comes in with the bases loaded here, Coach, and Jamison Brockenbrough at the plate. Was the decision to try to avoid the 3rd time through against Gould, you think?
It had something to do with it, plus the fact that Gould was starting to labor a little bit. She's given Mississippi State a great outing. Not a good one, a great one. And so Coach Ricketts decided to go with Faircloth, but she works fast. She likes to throw strikes. We've seen her already this weekend, and we'll see if Clemson can make some noise.
It's the 6-foot junior out of Alabama, the transfer from Troy, as Brockenbrough, aggressive at the plate, fouls back the first pitch.
A little bit different now. The ball's going to be getting there a little quicker. You got to make that adjustment.
Yeah, Faircloth was living in the low 70s yesterday. How about that? From 70 to 57.
That's nasty right there. That's unfair.
Pulling the string, and it's 0-2.
She didn't pull it. She yanked it. That was an unbelievable change of speed.
Right back to 66, down the seam. And Faircloth with her 84th strikeout of the season. Let's take a look.
She's doing what a veteran does. She knows she's got a 7-run lead. She's pouring strikes in there.
And it comes down to the freshman, Mac Pavesi. Tigers certainly feel like they have to score here. Bases loaded, 1 out, down 7.
You surely would think so. But, I mean, Faircloth is just pouring strikes in there right now.
Well, now there's 2 outs, and the 0-1 pitch misses high. Pavesi 0 for 2 with a couple soft ground outs against Gould, as Ariel is at 3rd, Chanel and Minish the trail runners. One and 2, and on the hands.
And late.
With Collins on deck. This is where you look at scores at the end of a season. You see 7-0. It can change in an instant as Collins has to scurry out of the way of that ground ball. One-two from Faircloth. It hit her. An RBI for Pavesi the hard way. And Clemson ends the shutout.
That's a tough way to score a run.
Right on the top of the toe.
I think it got her shin. I think it hopped up on her shin.
Right off the foot. So the bases stay loaded now, and Marion Collins may be the one you want at the plate, huh, after the week she's had.
Oh, yeah, this is a good hitter to have there. I think they're trying to decide if they want Pavesi to stay in and run for herself, or she's telling everybody she's fine. Get away from me, leave me alone.
look at Collins, who had a 3-game home run streak entering the weekend. Hit another one on Friday against Georgia Southern, so 5 home runs on the season. But Collins has been held scoreless and hitless against Mississippi State. She'll awkwardly swing at that first pitch from Faircloth.
Faircloth is not going to change her plan. She's going to pour the ball in there, just pour it in.
0-1 outside.
Unless she does that. That's the first pitch that missed badly for her.
Faircloth came in, struck out Brockenbrough with the bases loaded. And Pavesi was hit. The 1-1 to Collins. This is looped out to left where Silva ranges and secures. 1 run in for Clemson, sends us to the 6th. Down by 6. In about a half an hour here on ACC Network Extra as Clemson and that team from Columbia gets set to battle.
And it is a great situation for everybody in the stands. They know somebody from the state of South Carolina is going to win, but if you're in orange, you hope that the team in red and white and black just have the worst day they possibly could. Well, nothing makes you happier if you're a Clemson fan than for South Carolina to lose and vice versa.
Gamecocks got a big win at home on Friday, but then yesterday in Segra Field in Columbia, Michael Sharman with a 78-pitch complete game, the 4-1 win. So the series is on the line in about a half an hour as Nadia Barbary takes ball 1 here in the 6th inning. Maddie Johnson in her 2nd inning of work.
And that got Minish.
Minish is going to have to wobble this one off.
She's probably saying a few things she wouldn't want repeated right now.
No, it's certainly been a day to forget here for Clemson after a bounce-back win yesterday. Heartbreaking loss on Friday afternoon. It has been a roller coaster of a weekend for Tigers and their fans.
Yep. It got her right up there high on the thigh where there's no padding whatsoever. Oof.
Minish is ready. The 1-1 misses high, and we saw the perfect execution of that 40-ish mile-an-hour changeup last inning. There is the slipping version of it. Ground ball to Chanel, deep in the hole. Great throw and pickup over at first by Noller for the first out. This place has thinned out a bit with the scoreline and imminent rivalry game next door. But the Tiger fans in attendance hoping that down to their final 6 outs, you can't count out this team.
Well, that's why you've got to be sure you don't give up any more runs.
I was about to say, down by 6. Sells can make it 7 in one swing. Instead, it's another chopper up the middle. Into that outfield grass. Chanel cannot beat the speed of Sells, who has 3 hits today.
The Chanel did a good job of just keeping that ball in the infield, or kind of close to the infield anyway. She got the ball out in the grass. Nothing anybody could do about that.
That'll bring up the freshman in Keller. First at bat in this one as Keller turns on one. Deep to left. Johnson cannot bring it back. Keller has her first collegiate home run, and that sends this into run rule territory at 9-1.
Yes, it does. Going on. The third base coach is retrieving something. that must have.
He may go want that ball.
No, I think Keller had something fall off her
something
arm.
right around second base. And she's got the unicorn to celebrate. As it brings up Des Rivera, her fourth at-bat, 2 for 3 with a couple doubles today. For those that question Mississippi State's resume so far, bit of a marquee win against an NCAA tournament team here today. And that may lead to a change after that
What we got going now.
pitch from Johnson.
What do we do? We're making a change out in the outfield.
Yeah, we may.
I think they're going to change. Let's see what they're doing here.
So Kylie Johnson is coming out of left field. The only reason I would think they do that is to bring Cintron in to pitch, because Johnson replaced Cintron in the lineup.
Let's see what's going on here now.
Just a guess. And I believe that's what we will see.
All right.
So for the second time this season, Macy Cintron will have an opportunity in the circle. We'll tell you more about her when we come back. 62 innings, had a 2.25 ERA, but had been more focused on hitting this year. Only one appearance, and that came late against Auburn. First weekend of the season down in Clearwater, where Macy allowed 4 runs on 2 hits without recording an out. So sky's the limit here for Cintron in her second appearance of the season, as she'll come in a 1-0 count against Des Rivera. Little housekeeping as Pavesi is back in left. Ava Wilson has entered the ball game in right field.
You got to throw strikes.
Count 3-0 to a 405 hitter in Rivera. And Mississippi State looking to add one more insurance run to give them a little wiggle room in the bottom of the 6th. Four-pitch walk, really just a 3-pitch walk for Cintron. A tough assignment there, and there's a runner on first.
And I believe that means the runner belongs to Johnson.
I believe so. That's one of those deep lore. I believe you have a rule book. This might be the time as Abby Grace Richardson takes ball 1.
It's not within arm's reach right now.
Got it. There's the first strike from Cintron out of the pen at 68 on the gun. Richardson, a couple RBIs today with a sac fly and a single. And Cintron evens the count 2-2. 1 run in the first, 2 in the third, another 1 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth, and 2 here in the 6th for the Bulldogs, whose offense has awoken. They did not have to face Clemson's ace today.
No, they did not. And I do not think they will see her today either.
I think that's comfortable to say. Good snag by Minish in the count 3-2. Rivera at first base.
This is one of those games for Clemson. You've got to learn a lesson out of this. You got to learn that great win yesterday, but just a little bit of here, a little bit there can make things very difficult for you on the very next day. And no matter what caused it, they started the game off with 2 runners on base and a strike not thrown. And it just kind of spirals from there.
Richardson lofts it out to Wilson in right. You know what they say, when you come off the bench, the ball finds you.
Yeah.
And there's 2 outs now for Greta Grassel. 1 hit in 2 at-bats this season for the pinch runner. She'll take ball 1 here from Cintron.
Cintron just lowered her ERA from an infinity to 84.
And if there is a silver lining for Clemson, an opportunity to see Macy get back out in the circle and pitch.
Yeah.
Especially with ACC play starting next weekend. Friday, Saturday against Georgia Tech on ACC Network Extra, and Sunday on ACC Network. But first, a Wednesday night showdown with College of Charleston at 6 o'clock. One and 2 now to Grassel. We will see Noller, Cintron, and Bro in the bottom of the 6th, needing some runs to extend this game.
They need base runners.
There's a strikeout at 70 miles an hour from Cintron. 2 runs come in, and the pressure is on for Clemson when we come back. A look at the Palmetto State flag there on the left. Mississippi State looking to come at it here as the Tiger Invitational champion. And then it sets things up for the Palmetto rivalry right next door, starting in about 15 minutes between the Tigers and the Gamecocks. Here we sit at McWhorter Stadium, where Clemson is needing runs, down by 8. Julia Noller to the plate. Grassel has taken over in center field. She is the 4th center fielder today for Mississippi State.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Your 4th center fielder.
Started with Richardson, then Silva, then Sells, and now Grassel. Rolled over to second. And a quick out here from Faircloth. You know, there's even a patch of dead grass in center, and I wonder if it's from the amount of different cleats that they've seen.
Well, you can see, no, on a softball field particularly, you can see where the outfielders normally play in all 3 positions, but center field in particular.
I see a little dead grass under, which we'll have a few days to replenish.
And we must remind everybody that if Clemson does not come up with at least 1 run in this inning, the day is done.
That is ball game. Georgia Southern with a victory this morning against Wofford in the 3rd place game. Mississippi State with a statement bounce back here today after a 3-0 loss yesterday. 1-1 to Cintron. Change up for a strike on the inner half.
I just through circumstances I won't bore you with, I had the opportunity to become friendly with the great Bobby Cox, the manager of the Atlanta Braves for so many years. As you see, Cintron.
And this could fall. Oh, nice play made by Keller. She just hit a home run, now a basket catch.
Yep.
You don't have a lot of time for this Bobby Cox story.
Well, no, but Coach Cox always said, momentum in baseball is you're as good as your starting pitching that day. And I believe that.
I agree. We saw it all weekend from both Mississippi State and Clemson, as Sarah Breaux is the final chance here, putting a wrap on the pre-conference tournament season for Clemson, while Mississippi State has one more next weekend in Mobile. The Jaguar Classic starting Friday at 10 a.m. against New Mexico, and South Alabama, and Samford as well. First a midweek against UAB Wednesday at 5 o'clock Central in Birmingham. Two on the count here to Sarah Breaux. Corey Hicks awaiting a potential at-bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Two and two. Faircloth looking to close the door. Their second inning of work. It's a soft pop-up in foul ground into the Clemson bullpen.
I want to tell all the fans out there that both Clemson and Mississippi State have got a lot of softball to play ahead of them. They're both in extremely competitive conferences. So keep an eye on your team, because they're gonna make noise as the season goes on.
Fair ball, Barbary across the diamond, and after the most successful February in program history, Mississippi State starts March with a victory, and they are the 2026 Tiger Invitational champions. 9-1 winners here today. Scott, final thoughts?
Well, kind of a mixed bag if you're Clemson. It's kind of a mixed bag if you're Mississippi State. But they've got to right the ship, clean up all the little mistakes and this, that, and the other before the conference season start for both of them. And I know that the coaching staffs will be working hard all week.
Mississippi State moves to 18-2. Clemson to 13-7. As we thank you so much for joining us. Next broadcast here at McWhorter is Wednesday at 6. Then the conference season begins Friday against Georgia Tech. For our entire crew, Scott Whitlock, I'm Daniel Gilman saying so long from Clemson, South Carolina. This broadcast was a production of ESPN.